This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 615 for August 5th, 2019. Ducks are so dumb.
Quack, quack, mother effer.
Pretty sure the light gun's just broke.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. I don't think we have anything going up there this week, but $5 a month is still a really great deal.
Dude, we have something going up every week because we roguelike it every week, you big fool.
That's true. Two week early access to that. You get the Outcast.
Shall we do this slightly more professionally? This show is brought to you by our kind supporters and friends over at Patreon. That's patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers, folks. Without your support, we couldn't produce this show on a weekly basis. Well, that's technically a lie. We could. We just wouldn't be able to produce all the extra content. Go check it out and help us support for the hosting of the show. Thank you very much, everybody. And here is a big Orange Cassidy thumbs up to everyone on the live stream.
That's right.
And viewers like you.
That's right. Yeah, I was about to say the PBS and viewers like you. So go Patreon $5 a month. It's a really great deal. Moonpeer, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay, let's start with the shock of shocks. Moonpeer played Boston's about to write Dead by Daylight, but first I'm going to talk about Hollow Knight Void Heart Edition.
What?
Yep.
Okay.
The shock of shocks. Because I was listening to No Quarters, and Harlow was talking about this game.
Friends of the show, No Quarters.
Yep, friends of the show, noquarters.net. So, Boston is obsessed with this game. I think it is putting it mildly.
I was at one time obsessed. I would say it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Metroidvanias.
How many platforms do you own now?
Not counting Game Pass 2?
How many platforms
Switch and PS4.
have you played a whole bunch of it on?
2.
Okay.
Switch and PS4.
Okay. So Boston is a very large fan of this game, and
yes,
I kind of bounced off it a little bit at first.
You ran into the normal problems that people do, which is, this game is really big, I don't know where to go, this guy is whistling and humming to give me a map, and I cannot find him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard.
Harlow had a very similar reaction to me. He played it, he sat down and he hammered it. He put like 10 hours into it and then hit a wall and stopped.
Right.
Recently he has been playing it again, and I'm going to take his advice on this because he said he's enjoying it a lot more by playing it in much smaller chunks. Don't just play Hollow Knight. Play an hour of Hollow Knight. Oh no, you died. What a shame.
Sure.
Come back to it, the next day, and then
right, like you've hit your limit, and you're like, I will come back to this.
Yes, so
it makes sense.
I was debating on doing that, and then I saw that I had Xbox Rewards challenges that involved getting one achievement in Hollow Knight. I was like, I can get an achievement in Hollow Knight. I can't be that far away from.
Yeah, find a new area or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the next boss I fought was the Broken Vessel.
The Broken Vessel. Yep. Yep.
So after maybe 25 deaths on the Broken Vessel, I was like, I'm just going to give this one more go, and then I'm going to call it. And then I beat him.
Yep.
And
that's how it always goes. I'm done with this. I'm just one more time. Oops, I got it.
That was shortly after I acquired the Dream Saber, or whatever that thing is called. This game has too many mechanics. Let's just get that out the way.
Yeah, because the problem is the base game launched, and everyone's like, this is really great. And then their Kickstarter did so well that they had all these stretch goals. So they're like, okay, we'll put in the Dream Sword thing, and you'll collect all those over the world. And then the Grim Troop, and then 3 or 4 more expansions. It's like, okay, I'm not going to worry about some of this stuff, because it's a lot.
Yeah, and then I found out very quickly that when you kill the Broken Vessel, he has the stupid dream things popping up from him.
Oh no!
And then I hit the stupid dream things with the dream sword. And then I had to fight the Broken Vessel again. Except he was so much harder.
Yep. You're fighting the post-end game bosses.
It's like, okay, I feel like I had him almost like 4 times. And then I got so annoyed. Yeah. It was like 1 a.m, and I told myself I was going to stop playing it 2 hours before that.
Yep.
So I just moved on, got to the next save point, and then stopped playing.
Yeah.
However, between me and that last save point was the moth wings, or whatever the hell they're called. So now I can double jump.
Yes.
Now the game has finally become a little more open to me.
Yeah. What are the moves you have right now? Like the fireball, the double jump?
The fireball, the double jump. I've got the down pound.
Okay.
That's phrasing is
no
a little
thanks.
Bit weird on that one.
I'll pass.
I have the sideways dash.
Okay. That was the one I didn't want to spoil. I like that one where it just propels you a little bit.
Yeah, I've got this. Yeah. I've got the normal sideways dash, but I've also got the crystal sideways dash.
The I'm gonna go across half the level in 15 seconds.
I'm gonna Superman this stuff. Yep. And just suddenly okay, bye. See ya.
That's a super cool move. I still really like it.
The thing about that one is that's deceptive because you don't realize all of these inaccessible areas that you need that for, because it's just 2 hours in the game, you get to the end of this path that you're on, and there's just a floor of spikes, and you can't see on the other side of it.
Yeah, and you're like, never mind.
And then 15 hours later, you get this thing that allows you to basically Superman across that gap, and you've forgotten where those wall of spikes is.
That's why I started marking that stuff on the map, where it's like, I don't remember what's here, but I remember there's something here. So if I get stuck, I just start going to these areas and be like, okay, I don't have this, I don't have this. Oh, a giant floor of spikes. Maybe I can bypass that. Yeah.
So, I killed the broken vessel. I got my double jump. I was like, okay, now I can jump back in and play it a little bit again. Just go in and do little bits and pieces. I did accidentally find the super powered up down pound, where it becomes like a shadow monster down pound thing.
Right, that one's cool.
And I did also upgrade my pin to the heavy slash, thanks to the painter guy.
Yes, yeah, yep.
So that made a big difference at the start of it. I started using that at the beginning of boss battles before they ratchet up to 11 and suddenly start moving faster and doing everything quicker. I always try
just
start
charge that
boss fights with the charge attacks, because then you can take them down to that breaking point a lot quicker and not get hit as much. Right. Although it does feel nasty, the fact that especially the broken vessel is a good example of this, where they literally constantly spawn adds in to stop you from being able to heal.
Yep.
It's like,
and it's this thing where it's this dance, because they give you enough of a window to heal and enough ads for you to charge up your spirit, soul, whatever the white
your
bar
white,
is.
Your white gooey fluid, whatever it is.
And you can charge enough of that up, but if you don't have the pin to give yourself faster healing, it's like just enough that you can heal, but it's this risk reward of do I want to heal right now and the boss might wake back up and hit me, or do I want to do 5 or 6 swipes of the boss, or a couple powered up ones while he's down? I thought that was I kind of liked that, but yeah, it's
can be very, very frustrating.
Yeah, especially I think Broken Vessel is one of the harder bosses. I don't think it's the hardest. I think that's the one where you fight the 6
stupid knights.
The 6 rolly knights.
I don't think I've come across them yet. I came across the 3 kings or whatever they're called.
Oh,
that was an annoyingly hard fight.
Those Mantis Lords or something like that. Yeah,
that was tough.
I didn't run into them. I don't know how. I didn't run into them until after I was done with the game. So I hit them for 4 or 5 times and they're dead a piece. And I was like, these guys are easy. What the heck? And I looked online and it's like, oh, I should have fought them 20 hours ago. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, Hollow Knight is still an amazing looking game. Still an amazing style game. The sound is incredible. The mood is really... The phrasing on this is going to be poor. The mood is great. And when I say great, I mean it's depressing as all kinds of hell.
Depressing and nearly oppressive.
But it's really well presented in that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's very much, I think, that's one of... This is a meme at this point, but obviously Hollow Knight has taken some serious inspiration from Dark Souls. Mm-hmm. And it's not in the way that people normally say, which is just, this game is harder than I'd like to, so it's the Dark Souls of X. Yes. But Dark Souls does such a great thing of creating a mood and creating an environment and using a little bit of information that you're gathering to build a world that never quite gets filled in all the way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Hollow Knight does so well, is it's sad and it's somber and it's beautiful at the same time. And there's a couple people in the world that are telling you about the history of this kingdom, but you kind of never seem to get the full story. And I dig that.
Like the whatever the hell I've just gone through, where I ran into 3 sleepers, and now the 3 sleepers are marked on my map, and I've got to go find them. It's just like, okay, sure, whatever. I don't know what I'm doing, but I imagine I've got to go find those 3 white faces.
So, fair warning, when you do all 3 of those and it unlocks the door, that's the final boss.
Okay.
So, when you beat the final boss, what I would encourage you to do is go fight the final boss, get the bad ending, reload your save, and then go do everything else you want to do, because at that point, you can then go get the better and better and better endings.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so something to keep in mind. I know I have a weird pink sword that now I can kill dreams with, apparently.
Honestly, I wouldn't even really worry about that for a while.
Dude, there is an achievement for 100% completion.
Yeah, I would worry about it post-game, because there are... I think you can get a mask fragment and... some other upgrade. One of them, the material upgrades to upgrade your sword from this Dream Seer lady. But it requires a lot of them. Like, you'll slash those trees that are glowing, and then you'll need all the movement upgrades to get all the glowing orbs everywhere.
Yep, I already ran into a problem with that one in the tramway. When you take the tram and it's got that straight vertical shaft.
Yes.
There's a tree in there, but it's like, oh, hey, by the way, you have to basically jump dash sideways, collect 3 of them as you fall, and then hit a wall and come back out so that you don't accidentally drop on the floor full of spikes. So it's like, great, okay.
Yeah, well, sure. I'll do this one later.
won't be 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Hollow Knight, surprisingly, still amazing. And terrible at the same time.
And it's on Game Pass right now.
It is.
On Xbox One, I don't think on PC.
No,
maybe on PC.
Sure.
I don't know.
We check?
I'll check. I'll check while you're talking.
Mid-show fact-checking. I also played Hunter, the Call of the Wild. Sorry, correction. The Hunter, all one word, because reasons.
Yes, the Hunter.
Call of the Wild. My wife has been putting a lot of time into this recently, because honestly, it's kind of a really nice chill-out game. You would... Well, I think it's based on the Cry engine originally.
I believe so.
It's not the Cry engine. It's the Just Cause engine. It uses the Just Cause engine, except instead of putting, 45,000 kilometers square radius of land into an area, it puts like 20 square kilometers, and it looks phenomenal. Like, I think I said it when the game first came out, but the game is still one of the best looking games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's really good to just traipse around the mountains. Even if you don't feel like killing anything, just traipse around the mountains, walk through the woods, go camping, set up a tree stand and sit there and, watch what happens.
Watch the world.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight is available right now on Game Pass for PC beta.
There we go.
So, I think it doesn't run significantly better on PC, so, you're not losing anything by playing it on Xbox One.
Yeah. But, I mean, I jumped in with my wife and Charlie to play Hunter, and literally I spent 3 hours just running around the woods. And it was fine because the game looks great. And then a bear showed up in front of me and I shot him in the face. That was a panic fire though, because the dude like literally ran straight past me, stopped, looked at me, and I panicked and I shot him in the face.
I mean, things happen out in the woods.
Yeah, well, I have high power rifles for this exact purpose.
Right.
I did do a one shot, one kill on a bear though, which was it's a hunting simulation game. So it's one of those games where very much like Sniper Elite, except you don't have any of the assistance of Sniper, but like you pull off a one shot and then the animal drops and it's like, okay, that was a good shot. I'm really proud of that shot. And it's made more difficult by the fact that because it's a hunting simulation, pro tip, you don't aim for the face, you don't aim for the head, you literally aim for the heart. That is where you have to try and aim in this game. You have to shoot things in the heart to preserve the what are they called? To preserve the trophies that you might wish to take home.
Oh, woof. Okay.
So it's one of those games where it's like, yeah, you can shoot this deer in the face and kill it in one shot, but you're not a hunter. You're a dude.
You're the hunter.
Go away. Just go away.
See you, bye.
But no, it's all about like specifically aiming for playing as a hunter. And you know what? I would rather people go in this virtual world and shoot virtual bears than go out and shoot actual bears. Like, that's
you
fine.
put your virtual head on your virtual lodge wall.
Yes, exactly, because they do actually have a hunting cabin downloadable content where you can put trophies now.
Great. That's I mean, you sort of have to, right?
Uh-huh. And they also have like albino creatures and things like that.
Oh wow.
So yeah, there's a lot more in Hunter than there used to be.
Yeah.
They've got like 5 different game reserves now as well. It's like, oh, you want to go hunting in Norway? Well, let's go to Norway and go hunting.
I would, without the expense of having to fly there.
Exactly.
Or having to fly in general. I think it's cool that you're once again playing the Hunter, not only because we are probably the only podcast talking about it, but I think it's cool that it's like this really weird game that on the surface sounds like it would be really terrible, and it's really good. Mm-hmm. And it's like one of the best looking games on the platform.
The thing looks ridiculous. Like, my wife is Bearded Lady on Xbox, or Zero Bearded Lady Zero, whatever it is. Go look at her screenshots. Like, if she posts any of her screenshots up from Hunter, it's insanely beautiful. Like, yeah. And the best thing is, you can take the hood out now, which you never used to be able to do.
Great. True Hunter.
You put your gun away, and basically it becomes the Hunter Call of the Photographer instead.
That's cool. I like that. That's a game I want to play.
It's really, really good.
Actually, I think they just put that on PS3 called Africa. I think, if I remember, that was just a photography game.
It's the PC painting game. That's the one you want.
Yes.
The one where it's like, here is a game about creating screenshots by basically just painting them.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Kind of great.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's quiet, it's chill. You sit there, you have a laugh. And then you find 3 deer at a watering hole, and all 3 of you try and see if you can take a one shot at the same time to kill 3 different deer.
All right, synchronize your watches.
Exactly. It's so dumb, but it's great. And they've got so much additional stuff in there now. Like, they've got additional DLC, outfits, costumes. You can now use tents and tree blinds, and they've put duck hunting in the game now as well. And
great.
Let me tell you, ducks are so dumb. Like, so dumb. Like, we all remember playing The Duck Hunt.
Yes.
Like, you sit there.
The Duck Hunt reboot, The Duck Hunt.
Yes. You remember sitting there and you're thinking, well, you got this stupid smarmy dog, and yet for some reason these ducks keep flying across the same patch of land,
right?
Despite the fact that all of their relatives are now dead.
Right, go somewhere else.
In this game, the ducks do the exact same thing. It's like, okay, sure,
great,
why not?
Maybe that's true to life.
But it's dumb. It's fun. It's, you know, it's not a green sky game per se.
Sure,
but it's a good don't worry about stuff and just shoot some things kind of game.
Right, some fake things.
it does feel good to nail like a heart shot. Like if a deer is sitting there at an awkward angle to you and it's got its head down, you've got to wait for it to raise its head so you can try and shoot it right in the heart underneath the neck, but you've only got the tiniest.
Yeah, sorry.
No, okay. There's a deer that's listening saying, no, not our secrets.
but you know, you got like literally the tiniest area that you can shoot for, and it feels good to hit that, and then all of a sudden, especially if the deer drops right then and there, it's like, okay, I did good.
Right.
I did great. I'm not going to lie, though, I did shoot a duck out of the sky with one of my high-powered rifles.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone who's played Red Dead, it's very similar. You use certain guns and certain animals to make sure that you can maintain the integrity of the game. So you don't shoot a rabbit with a shotgun, for example. Because
understandable, yeah.
Because the expected results will happen.
Right.
I was using a level 3 rifle designed for bears and shot a duck out of the sky.
So just...
I literally... I thought I might have shot it, but I wasn't sure. So I was like... There was 3 ducks, now there's 2, but I don't know if that's just one duck has ran away or hiding behind the other one. I don't know. It's flying in the sky. It's hard to see. I'm like 200 meters away from the thing, sure. So I just went exploring in the woods, and then suddenly my wife found this duck corpse on the floor. I was like, who shot a duck out the sky?
Wait, I think that was me.
She picks it up. It gives me the cash credit, which is like $2 because the thing is just a mangled mess.
Because your wife only found half of it in one area, and you got to find the other half.
Basically,
it's like Looney Tunes, where it's just the beak.
Yes, exactly. Because like it gives you like quick kill, integrity, stuff like that. Like you get bonus points if you act like number one, a kind of responsible human being, as in you put the animal out of the misery quick, you maintain the integrity of the trophy, and you did good accuracy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got 0% on every single one of them for this duck.
It's just like, man, you messed this thing up.
Pretty much. It's like, okay, sure, whatever. And the fact that you can play multiplayer and like you can claim your trophies, everybody else can, claim them for you. So if you happen to shoot something that somebody else finds, they can claim that for you, so that you get the cash rewards and stuff like that.
Who shot this bear with a rocket? It's like, never mind. It wasn't me.
And the worst thing is they've now the same company, I believe, using the same engine, recently released that survival game with the robots.
Oh.
I wish I could remember what it was called, but unfortunately I can't right now. It's slightly buggy at the moment, from what I understand. It's a very buggy kind of game. But that's this team with this engine who, when this game came out, this was buggy as all kinds of crazy as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them patch it a couple of times, and then I'm going to 100% jump in on that action and enjoy shooting robots out of the sky.
Company is called Expansive Worlds.
It sounds like a stupidly fun game.
Yeah.
I did continue playing Snake Pass.
Okay.
Which Snake Pass is still a very good chill-out game too. I have officially hit the point where there are problems with the level design for the chilling out process.
You're now at the go to hell Snake Pass stage?
I'm not there yet, but I'm definitely at the point where
you're on the on-ramp.
There is Rube Goldberg machines with nothing but death pits underneath, and it's just
no.
So I've got to wrap myself around this beam, like transition across this like cog like platform, then grab the next plank and go across that gap, and then so on and so forth, like 4 times to land safely on the other side. You make one mistake and you fall to your death. Poor Noodle dies. That's terrible.
Right.
But you know what? It's Snake Pass. It's chill. It's fun. I'm at the fire stage now. I literally just completed my last air level, so now I'm at the fire stages, so we'll see.
You got Fireman's weapon, now you're going to Airman.
No, now I have Airman's weapon, I'm going to Fireman. Come on.
Right, okay, yeah. Gotta do the Robot Masters in the right order.
Yes, exactly.
That's right.
But it's Snake Pass. It's on Game Pass. Give it a try. I don't know how they made tank controls work, but they did.
It's
strange how intuitive those controls feel for controlling a snake after a while.
Yeah.
It's really great. I played Dead by Daylight. So we can mark this off as Moonbeer's usual BS.
Check.
I played a little bit throughout the course of the week, but mostly it was Dead by Friday. Couple of good rounds, couple of bad rounds. I'm now at the point where playing this game is weird because it took me 18 months to get my first prestige level.
Okay.
And then I think was it last week I was talking about how I was just about to hit prestige level 2 and then level up. Yeah, I can prestige level 3 now.
So you're just a rolling stone downhill?
So now I'm back up to the point where I'm trying to use all of my items on my character so that I can prestige him without losing what's potentially hundreds of thousands of blood points.
Wow.
So yeah, Dead by Daylight's really good. Especially if you do the dailies, it speeds things up like so much. And you know what? It's fun even playing with 2, playing with 3, playing by yourself. I'm having a good time. And I am going to admit to hashtag doing my part in the community because I was playing with Brain Eater, member of the community, and we ran across somebody who was playing as the Trapper and who was really bad.
Yeah?
Like, really bad. I was like, well, this person's either trying to rank tank or they're just really bad at the game.
Right. Or they're like brand new and don't understand the character.
So yeah, we finished the game and he's rank 20 with the killer, which means he's probably literally brand new and has only played like 2 rounds.
Oh.
So I sent him a message saying, look, keep at it, keep practicing, you'll get better, don't worry too much about it, just get used to playing as the individual killers. And he sent me a response saying, thank you. So
that was nice. You're being a good citizen.
Exactly. Hashtag I'm doing my part.
Yeah, instead of saying like, ugh, I can't believe, who let you into this game? Oh, God, blah. Thanks for the win, noob.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you don't know what anybody is. You don't even know who what killer is until you start the round.
Mm-hmm.
But you hit the match summary screen. It's like, oh, everybody got these points, and like Rob is ranked 16 as a survivor. We had 2 rank 20s, which were relatively newbie guys, and I'm ranked 13 as a survivor. Out of 20, I am ranked 13, so I am almost halfway up to the upper echelon of like survivors. And this poor dude's ranked 20. He doesn't know the killer skills. He was the Trapper, and he literally set 2 traps.
Right. Maybe he downloaded it like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, so it's like, give him a little bump. I don't want this to be Call of Duty, like, where, like you said, like, get out of here, noob, why are you even playing this game?
The thing that people don't realize is, like, if you want more people to play the game, encourage them when they're starting out. Because everyone sucks when they start out any game. Yep. So just be like, hey, man, you did a great job, like, stick with it, you're going to get it pretty soon. Yeah,
it's the same with anything, especially we here in this podcast are all fans of ridiculously complicated games. Games which, on the surface level...
to our detriment.
Yes, on the surface level may be simple, but when you look deeper beneath the skin, they are really complicated. I mean, we are all appreciative, I believe, of the term Sherpa and are perfectly happy to both be Sherped and be Sherpas.
I'd also like to bring up Elite Dangerous.
That was going to be my point.
Exhibit A.
Yes. 2 of the members of the 3 are huge fans of Elite Dangerous, which is probably one of the most complicated games you can play on consoles these days.
Yeah.
But it's a fun complicated. Don't let that scare you.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's... Yeah.
But that's exactly it, though. It's like, if anybody from the community listening, if you just downloaded this episode randomly, if you're interested in something that we talk about, reach out. Because we are, for lack of a better way to phrase this, we all tend to look on the positive side of things. You will very rarely hear me say, this game is garbage and I hate it.
Yeah.
I will more than likely, you'll hear me say, I don't like this game because of X, Y, and Z.
It's good, but it's not for me.
Yeah. We roguelike it, we covered Sunless Seas, which is a fantastic game that moves so slowly that it just wasn't for us at the time.
It's a really great game that neither of us liked at all.
Exactly. But we're willing to say, if you are okay with these things, you might enjoy it. But when it comes to stuff like Elite Dangerous, Destiny, Dead by Daylight, these are all games which maybe not so much Elite Dangerous, but Destiny and Dead by Daylight, nice simple starting point. You get in, you play, you figure something out. Elite Dangerous' starting point is probably maybe 10 magnitudes higher than that.
It's like a graduate level class.
Yes. But then you get into the depth of it and you realize just how deep the rabbit hole goes, and it's just like, oh, okay, there's so much more in here. Like, I don't mind. I did it with Brain Eater, I did it with T-Bomb Rocks, I did it with Mackie, and my wife did it with me. She got me into Dead by Daylight, and then I got them into it by helping communicate things that sometimes the games aren't great at communicating.
Boy, as a Destiny player, I'm familiar with that.
I still remember watching Elite Dangerous in VR I can't remember, it's like blank in VR is a mess or not a mess. I can't remember what the thing is. Well, this guy plays VR games, and he says it's great or it's terrible based on his experiences with it. And he did Elite Dangerous, and generally speaking, he came away loving the game. The video is fantastic, but the point he makes at the start of it is the difference between getting into a jet in Grand Theft Auto 5, taking off and hitting the skies, and the difference in getting into an Elite Dangerous ship and taking off from a space station is anywhere from 2 to 6 hours difference.
Right.
Because GTA, you hit a button, you fly in it, it's relatively simple. Elite Dangerous is a mite more complicated than that.
Just a smidge.
Elite Dangerous has flight checks in it before you take off the deck your first time, and you can turn them back on if you forget how to take off from a flight deck.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
Yep.
But it doesn't give you button help. It just tells you, hey, turn on thrusters. And then you're looking at your panel going, all right, which one's the thruster?
Right, which button is thrusters?
Yeah, so stuff like this, reach out. We will all happily share for people, and even games that we're not big fans of or haven't tried out, we might reach out to the community to say, somebody who wants to take us through this, let us know.
Yeah.
Like, I might suddenly develop a real hankering for Warframe again, and I know just a member from our community who's going to take me through Warframe again, and that's right. Mr. Musum.
Yeah.
Which he did. Like, that's legitimately what happened. Is like, I love Warframe, I'm stuck.
Right.
Musum was the person who helped me get through that arch, and I can help people get up to the same point, and then we can rope Musum back in, and then have him take us through more stuff.
Oh, no.
You know... enjoy the good, positive sides of the community, like, because that's how these games live and die.
Yeah.
Like,
especially quote-unquote smaller games like Dead by Daylight compared to something like Call of Duty or Battlefield or something like that.
Exactly. And Fortnite as well, like, stuff like that. It's like, I don't want to play Fortnite because I don't want to jump in, not know how to build, get shot 50,000 times, and not understand what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
But yes, my final game this week, it may have been Dead by Friday, but it was certainly Siege by Saturday. It was also Siege by Friday as well.
Speaking of getting shot and not knowing what's going on.
Yes.
Right.
So we played a lot of Siege. I played a lot of Siege. My wife played a lot of Siege. Friend of the show, E, played a lot of Siege. Rob, community member, played a lot of Siege. And the Nymph played some Siege.
Hey.
So yeah, I got
a real crew going on. I like it.
We did. I jumped in. I think I got home from work on Friday, and Friday's my chore day. I walk in, explode out my clothes, laundry gets done, everything gets kind of started on Fridays. I walked in, and literally the second thing my wife says to me was, "You want to play Siege?" Sure. Why not?
The siren song over there is like, oh, okay, sure.
It's like, sure, I'll play some Siege. Give me 10 minutes to wind down, jump in, play some Siege. That was about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't stop playing Siege until midnight.
That's a pretty good day.
This ball just kept on rolling because it was the three of us. And then I may have sent a message to Nymph, who was asleep at the time, saying, you want to play some Siege?
I was up 16 minutes later and hopped on.
That's dedication. I like it.
And then randomly, Rob jumped in, and all of a sudden, we're all playing Siege. Playing casual. We're not taking it seriously because you got the two pro leaguers. You've got me somewhere in the middle, and you've got the two scrubs. No offense, Rob. No offense, Nimp.
Well, I think we looked up our time, and your wife had 300 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
you had 100, and then I had like 5 hours.
Yeah, and I think Rob had 9.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those things where it was like a good scale from most to least hours.
Hundreds of digits to 1 digit.
Yes, exactly. But we just jumped in, and we just had fun, played Siege, communicated. Like, none of us were taking it so seriously to the point where when we lost, and sometimes we lost a lot, it was fine because we were just generally having a good time. Like, experimenting with different classes, like seeing who likes what. My wife throwing out Siege memes left and right, which are only memes to her and her friends. It's like, I don't know what's going on, but sure. Yeah. Like, the pet names, the baby, it's the whole, I think we talked about this, like, it's like listening to someone speaking a different language. It's like, I know what Babygate means. I don't know if Nymph knows what Babygate means. Nope. I don't know. Do we know who Mr. President is? Because I know who Mr. President is, but that's because I hear that it's like being around a Spanish person and just listening to Spanish constantly.
Right, picking up a couple words here and there.
Yeah, you get that stuff. Yeah. Whereas, like, Nymph and Rob probably don't know who Mr. President is.
Just politely laughing in the background.
we don't understand what a please be sweaty means when it comes to your play style. It's like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
But sure.
It got to the point one time where people kept saying call out locations, and I'm looking around like, there's a wall, there's a
house,
a table. Yeah. I had one really good one where I got shot in the area, and there was a map in the middle of the room, so I'm like, hey, he's in the map room, and I know everyone was just like, what is he talking about?
Or where even is that?
But I mean, it's good because you're playing with people who can potentially carry you, but also people who, if you lose, they're not gonna care.
Yeah, it's part of the process. They realize it's part of the process instead of like, oh my god, we lost again. Like, play your roles, guys. It's like, no, you got 5 hours in, we're still learning. It's all good.
Yeah. It also helps that one of them was doing this not too long ago.
Right.
Like, he was literally in Nymph's position 3 months ago.
Right.
And has done nothing but play Siege for the past 3 months. Like, that's kind of the situation. But, it makes a big difference when it's just a group of people who legit don't care. Like,
I just want to have fun.
Yeah. And, you're calling out positives. You're saying, that was a good kill, that was a bad kill. I had 1 or 2 rounds where I was like, holy crap, I'm kind of getting it again. I'm kind of feeling it again.
He's seeing the Matrix.
Like, the last time I played the game was when Mira was released as an operator. Mira and her crew. That was the 2nd year operators.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's now in its 4th year operators.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things, and I will be remiss to mention this. I will be kicked in the face if I don't mention this. I had every achievement in Rainbow Six Siege, except for one. Except for one. So, while the majority of us were all having fun and playing around, I was specifically achievement hunting.
You had a secret goal.
It wasn't so secret. Everybody knew I was going for it. It's like, if there was someone who was down, you don't kill them in case Moon can get his last achievement.
Right.
There's the rules. So, the achievement in question is called Meat Wall, which is to kill somebody with a breaching charge. It's very difficult to do. When the game first came out, you've got a character called Fuse. Quick Rainbow Six Siege breakdown here. You've got 2 types of breaches, soft breach and hard breach, which is to say soft breaches can go through normal walls. Like, again, the destructibility in this game is insane. If you haven't seen it, go check out some of the stuff. Like, the game looks amazing and the destruction is fantastic. A soft breach can go through a soft wall. A hard breacher can put through reinforced walls, which is the things the defenders can do to make sure you can't get through. A hard breacher can go through those walls. Fuse is a hard breacher. He basically uses a breaching charge, except it's basically filled with thermite instead of regular explosives.
Ah.
I killed somebody with the meat wall symbol, which is the breaching charge kill symbol, as thermite. They patched out him being able to get that achievement.
Oh, no.
Because technically it's not a breaching charge, technically speaking. So I should have got the achievement then. And then I should have got it like 5 more times when I'm just an idiot and just someone wasn't close enough to the breaching charge. So my wife this morning got me the achievement.
Yes.
Sweet.
And then, big props.
Mm-hmm.
True love.
With 0 effort, sometimes it feels like she does this when it comes to Siege. And then she posted a video on Twitter, and if you haven't seen that video, go watch it because it's hilarious.
Yes, it is very good.
It's so hilariously stupid. Hashtag best wife ever, I believe is how it ends. But, you know, we played Siege, and I played Siege for 6 hours straight, and I did not feel fatigued. I did not feel upset. The only reason why I stopped playing that was because a lot of people were going to get food, calling it a night, and the siren song of Dead by Daylight was calling to me on a Friday night. That's literally the only reason I stopped playing Siege. It felt good to be back in that saddle, and, like, I mean, I don't know, Nimp, you said yourself, we were talking pre-show, like, even as simple as being in the game with Jess and E is, like, you see the way they play, and it's like, I can improve by doing something like that.
It's like a masterclass.
Yeah, because just watching them do some things, like I just haven't seen other players do some of the stuff that they were doing. So I was generally following either of them around, mostly because your wife kept saying, follow me, and I didn't know she was just talking to you to get that achievement. So I'm like, okay.
Oh, no.
And then, and then
good.
one time Moon turns around, he's like, why are you following us? And I'm like, because your wife said to follow her.
Right.
But I mean, like, there was all kinds of just random stuff that I would see them do. It was like, oh, cool, I didn't know you could do that. And then I would try to do it the next, game that we had, and oh, hey, it works out. But
yeah.
With that achievement, too, the meat wall or whatever the achievement was that Moon was trying to get, I didn't know that that's what they were trying to do. And I think we got 2 games into it, and I unlocked like 4 or 5 achievements. And as he's talking about it, I'm like, hey, what's the one that you're trying to get? And he tells me, and I'm like, oh, I just unlocked that last match.
Son of a...
Yep. It's one of those achievements. You'll either get it by accident, or you have to try really hard.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got winning kill cam on 1 round. 1v2,
hey.
baby. Woo!
But that's the thing, is like, especially playing with a group of nice, friendly people, you do that, and you get the positive feedback loop of that was great, you did a good job, so on and so forth.
Right.
And it works out, and you don't get the negative loop of, oh, well, we lost, it's your fault.
Right. The quiet silence on the other side where it's like, oh no, that was me. Oh no.
Oh no, there was plenty of quiet silence. Lots of judging.
It was never, I was just going to say, it was never judgmental silence. It was just silence.
No, there was like, okay,
just regular silence.
We're going to debrief, but first I have to figure out how you did what you did wrong.
Right.
It was fun. Like, I mean, I had a blast. I don't know about Nimp, obviously, but like, I had fun, and you may be hearing Siege make the regular rotation back into my played list.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
I loved playing with you guys, too. Everyone kept it pretty lighthearted, so...
Yeah.
And even if they didn't, whatever. Just shut my mic off.
I'm just going to leave. Nimp, what else have you been playing this past week?
So, besides Siege... Late Elf actually gave me a code. He was handing out codes for Yoku's Island Express.
Yes. Longtime friend of the show.
Yes. So I got that from him. Got it downloaded onto Steam. And then 5 hours later, I was watching credits.
Yep.
Yep.
Didn't realize it was actually that short of a game.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed every minute of that game.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was a couple things here and there that were kind of a pain, like just trying to find your way around the map sometimes.
Yeah.
There were some things that just didn't seem clear, and then you just happen to come across, a new method or way to get there. But overall, it's really great. If you haven't played Yoku's Island Express, go get it.
Yeah.
Another fine Blue Sky game.
Yes.
Yep. Controls well. How someone made a pinball Metroidvania work, I don't know.
Yep.
But they did.
Well, and
You get to toot that horn.
I started playing with keyboard, which isn't bad, but it was just I didn't find a way to change how the button configuration on the keyboard. And it's a little weird because you're playing with arrows and then you have to hit the 2 shift keys to, bounce around and stuff like that. So eventually
weird. Okay.
I did plug in my Xbox One controller and played it that way, which it was a lot easier to figure out instead of trying to spider claw my way around the keyboard.
Right.
So, yeah, really, really enjoyed that game. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, go play it, everyone. It's usually on sale, and it's really great.
I still love that Bumblebee travel music. It's so
Yes.
good.
God, that game is
Yeah,
so
the
good.
music in that game is... even the sound effects in that game were really, really great.
Yeah. That's a great game that I feel like so many people overlooked because it didn't get enough coverage.
I mean, yeah, really my only disappointment with it is that it's so short.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mind it being short, but it was one of those where I beat it and was like, oh, I wanted to play more.
Go for the 100%. You can double that time, no problem.
Yeah, thankfully there's a lot to do for 100%.
When I unlocked like a bunch of the eyeballs and stuff so I can find the little critters to help the god egg and
Right.
all that fun stuff. So yeah, there's still a lot to do. Trying to do the late deliveries for the packages that you get. And then
Those are fun.
I also like the fact that there is the kind of a side quest where you are supposed to be a mail delivery person. And they just tell you, just grab a handful of letters and shove it into the mailbox and just say, the mail gets here, rain or shine.
The animation on that is so good because it opens up, you just stuff a wad of mail in there and call it a day.
Yeah.
It's great.
And even just watching, because you're playing like this little beetle that's attached to this small round rock.
Yep.
And there's times where that rock gets launched and that beetle is just being flung everywhere. And
the dung beetle is just like holding on for dear life.
And I've even had it a couple of times where during, I guess, like one of the tables or whatever that you're playing on, the rope, like the rock went one way, the beetle went the other, and they're just kind of hanging there on this random thing on the table, and the beetle just looks dead.
Yeah, that's so good.
But yeah, it's a great game. Go play it if you haven't already.
Yep.
The next game that I was playing was Yakuza Kiwami.
Yeah.
Threw that back in, and that game, I don't know if it's story related or if it's just the way the mechanics are now, but the fights in this game feels a lot slower than in Zero. And a lot tougher. Everyone's got longer health bars, and you're taking off like a 10th, maybe.
Yeah, and I felt like in Zero, you were upgrading your skills way faster, and in Kiwami, I felt like you could... No, or was it 6 where you could eat and upgrade your skills? That was 6.
I think that's
I felt
6.
I felt like in Kiwami 1, you could still get through the fights, but it wasn't nearly like a Yakuza stomping a random street thug like it was in Zero, where it's like you don't even have a knife, man. Like I'm just gonna destroy you.
Well, and that's why I was wondering too if it wasn't story based, because the point I'm at now is you at the beginning of the game you get thrown into jail and it's supposed to be 10 years later. Yep. Right. So Majima is obviously coming after you, saying you've gotten soft since being in blah blah blah. So I'm wondering if it's just them. Making everything purposefully harder because just to kind of bring home the fact that you're not what you were.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out, too, if it's just not my mindset of playing Zero and being used to just walking into a street and kicking everybody's butt, no problem. But I have noticed that he does feel sluggish, so I'll keep an eye on that just to see if it doesn't pick up as the story goes on. Maybe it's just I need more points and whatever.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you get experience points all over. And they did change the battle system in this one, the leveling system, where you're actually leveling up, you get experience, and then you get skill points that you can put into your attacks and stuff. And you got 5... I think it's 5 different stats that you can put, individual points in that gives you more health or whatever.
Right, stronger and more stamina and all that.
So I haven't gotten much past that just because I was running around just seeing how the town's evolved since the last game, which took place in the 80s. This game now takes place in 2005. So
right.
You can save anywhere now, which is great.
Yes, thankfully.
Yeah, they still have phone booths, which I think is kind of funny.
Yep.
And you have a cell phone, which is kind of funny because he has no clue how to use a cell phone or what you even do with it.
That even in Yakuza 6, he gets a smartphone and he still has no idea how to use it, and it's really great. There's a bunch of side quests about him just not knowing how to use modern technology, and I love it every time.
So I'm going to pick that up. I finished, there's a funeral that you had to go to, which they called a funeral of fists.
Yes.
Which is pretty
so
awesome.
Good.
Which it was kind of a pain, because they kind of throw in like a small stealth element in that one. It's nothing too terrible, but you have like the Metal Gear Solid style radar map, where you have people with sight lines, but the sight lines are really small. And you kind of have to sneak by them, which wasn't terribly difficult at all. But then you're kind of doing this other quest where you have to get into this area. You can't get back there because you don't have a certain badge. So then you have to find some guy who, just either steal one or find one. Found one. Story continues. I have to get out of there now because story reasons.
Right.
And then I have to fight a boss to fully leave the area. And that boss was the biggest pain in the butt so far in this entire game.
It's so hard.
Yeah, because you can't stun lock him at all. You can't stop his attacks at all. But this guy can stop your attacks, no problem. He can either grab you or he can just shoulder right through your attacks.
It's like the reverse of random street thugs in the game, where it's like, we can't stop Kiryu, what is he doing? And this boss is like, nah, man, you can't. You want to do a combo to me? I'm just gonna knock you right back down.
And his range isn't that bad, but I had the issue every once in a while where the camera would randomly slide to the side. Yes. So then all of a sudden my character runs right into the boss, who's just started his combo. So that sucked. That
was frustrating.
Yeah, that fight took a lot longer because I was doing a lot of running around, because you can't take very many hits from him.
Yeah.
Which luckily the game gave you a lot of health items, because you couldn't really prepare to go to this area. It was just a story thing where, hey, you're here now. So they give you a lot of random items as you're leading up to this boss, but I went through those fast, and I was trying to be conservative. So it's a lot of fun. I'll keep trying to knock that out. I'm also finding a lot of random locker keys that I have no clue what to do with.
Yeah, one of the weird things about the Yakuza games, and I think a thing it does really well, is when you're first starting the game and like it has you go from point A to point B in Kamurocho, I like that it blocks off the total city except for this 1 or 2 blocks you need to do to get to your objective, and it opens the city slowly as it goes. But it leaves a lot of confusion like that, where it's like, I've picked up like 4 locker keys. Have I run across anything like this? Like, I don't, if I remember correctly, there's a very clear like locker area in the game, in a little bit. That's
what I was figuring, because like you said, most everything's been locked down. It's just the areas that you need to get to that are open. So I've just been kind of waiting for the map to open up more so I can actually explore, because even in the areas that I'm in now, there's not a whole lot to look at. Yeah. So far, I've just checked up with the people that have been in previous games, or in the previous game.
How have you been in the last 10 years?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of checking up with the story, what happened since he was in jail and all that stuff. So, and yeah, Majima is still awesome. The crazy crap that he's done so far.
I thought it was really fun because he wasn't in the first game originally, and they added him in for this version. I think a lot of that stuff is really fun.
Well, especially I randomly found him dressed as a police officer.
Yep, that scene is so good.
And he decided that I needed to be searched. And even my character's like, what are you doing? And he's like, hey, it's the law. and I'm playing as an officer, so empty your pockets.
just like, Majima, what are you doing, man? Like, Kiryu's trying to get stuff done, like solve a mystery, and Majima's like, let's fight, buddy, and Kiryu's like, man, I'm busy, dude.
Okay, so he is the Goku to Kiryu's Vegeta.
Yeah,
like
very much so. Yeah, it's like
trying to get stuff done, and Majima's just about having fun.
And
yeah, it's just like Majima's like, I want to fight, and you're really strong. How about let's fight? And Kiryu's like, there's like people are getting killed. Like, I got stuff to do.
Well, that is kind of the funny thing, because having the backstory with Majima from Zero, I really liked that character.
Yeah,
it's sad that he went crazy the way he did.
Yeah,
but it's funny that he went crazy the way that he did.
Right,
and he's basically trying to build you up to the way you used to be the last time he fought you in the original game.
Yeah.
Because he's looking for a good fight, and nobody that he has found has even come close to what you had been.
Yeah.
So he's trying to build you up in his own way. That way he can take you down.
Yeah. So good.
So yeah, that's crazy Japanese games. I love them.
Yeah.
The last game that I had played was Red Dead Redemption 2.
I need to get back to this thing.
Yeah, I didn't have a real interest in playing this game. I had picked it up just because I bought a PS4 Pro, and it was either pay the full price for a PS4 Pro or get the one that comes with Red Dead Redemption for the same price. So
there you go.
So I was like, all right, cool, I'll do that. But I wasn't really, I really liked the last Red Dead Redemption game on the 360, but I didn't really have an interest in playing the second one. And I'm enjoying this game, but this game, it feels like to me, this game fights you to play it. There has been, I'm still in the beginning, I just made it to the second camp. But there's been a lot of things story related where I cleared out, like I've finally got some money so I could upgrade some of my stuff, upgrade the camps, all that, and I was doing really well for myself.
When you say the second camp, do we mean the camp after the mountains?
Yes.
Or the second? Okay.
Yeah, I guess technically your third camp. So I was playing cowboy my own way, where I wanted nothing to do with the town unless I needed something from it, which goes against everything that anyone in that camp wants to do. They are all about shooting up, drinking, all that fun stuff, whatever. Except for the fact that I keep getting dragged into situations because of story reasons, where all of a sudden I have a $284 fine and I've got $15 to my name. Because I wasn't really interested in getting more money, because there wasn't a whole lot that I could buy, and I've pretty much gone full huntsman in this game, where if I need it, I can craft it, I can kill it, whatever. So I was pretty much living on my own in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden I got this huge bounty on my head because the story deemed that I needed a bounty.
Yep.
So I managed to find a couple maps, which led me to some gold bars, which got me like $1,200. I'm like, great. Turned in those gold bars, went to the post office, paid off my bounty. Had nothing else to do in the game, so I went and did the next story. Now I have a $100 fine in one area and an $84 fine in another area, or bounty. And I can't go to either of those towns without getting bounty hunters after me. And the lawmen will continue to look for me because of what we did. It's like this, what the heck? So I disappeared into the wilderness for a couple hours, hunted a bunch of animals, got a bunch of, got some money racked back up, did some, tracker stuff, got the money to pay all that off. Great. Started doing some side quests, built up some extra items, all this other fun stuff. And then I could do another story mission because I had nothing else to do. We end up shooting up an entire town that I had really good reputation with all the people there, because that's what I was building up. And we went through and killed all of them.
Great.
So now I have another bounty in 2 areas. And it's like, dude, what the heck is going on?
What do you want from me?
This is the Rockstar way of looking at the world, which is Rockstar Games specifically, which is to say, don't ever make human connections.
Right.
Never make human connections because they're just a path to your downfall.
Yeah, people are expensive.
Which is perfectly fine because, like I said, I'd been living in the wilderness this entire time just fine. I didn't need that town for anything.
You're playing Hunter Call of the Wild out there.
Yeah.
But now I have to deal with all these consequences because so-and-so did something which screwed over everybody.
We don't have any laws in the woods.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So we moved to our third camp spot, and they basically tell you, okay, hey, we're in this area. We're going to be good. To which I was like, that's what I've been doing for the last 12 hours of this game. And then...
So are you telling me the Dutch does not make good decisions for the...
Nobody in that camp makes good decisions.
Weird.
And that was kind of the funny thing, because now when you go into this other town, it keeps highlighting anytime you get next to it. This little box will pop up that says, hey, Dutch doesn't want any of the gang to be violent towards any of the members in the town or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, where was this 5 hours ago? When
I'm right there with you, man.
When I was the only one, doing this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this game.
I feel like you're having the standard RDR2 experience so far.
Yeah.
The standard Rockstar experience is the problem.
That's fair.
It's the disconnect of the story they're trying to tell, but versus the story they're trying to get you to have yourself.
Right. Versus open world tomfoolery.
Yes.
Which I would be fine with, but they push really hard on the honor system. So
it means nothing. It means nothing.
Yeah, I know. I'm finding that because every time I get my honor system to go up, it drops because story.
Great.
And so I stopped paying attention to that, and I'm just doing my own thing in the wilderness because it's what I did in the first game, which I really enjoyed. But every time I have to do a mission, like a full story mission, it's like, all right, I gotta rack up all this money because there's probably going to be a fine related to this, that it's just a pain. Which sucks because everything else that I do in the game, like the hunting, the trapping, the fishing, I mean, I spent an hour fishing on a boat.
Right.
Because
that sounds cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was relaxing. And even just doing like random hunting elements. I mean, I captured a horse and I broke it in, went to a stable, sold it for a couple bucks. I mean, all the other stuff that's in that game is great. Right. It's just sometimes the controls get a little iffy. And that's
Rockstar.
Yeah, and the story just seems to just keep kicking you back down every time you seem to feel like you're doing good for yourself.
Right.
So I'll keep hammering at it, and if nothing else, you'll just hear me talk about how all I do is hunt in this game because screw the story. But yeah, that's all I've been playing this week.
I started. We talked about this during releases last week. I started Picross Lord of Nazarick, which is touted as a story-based nonogram Picross game. I have not seen the anime that is based on, apparently called Overlord. That might be a requirement.
Oh, wow.
I don't understand anything that's going on in the very thin stuff that's going on. Basically, you play as this sort of skeletal overlord, very imposing, demonic-looking guy. What appeals to me about it is he speaks very plainly, so he just seems like a normal dude, but he happens to be this overlord. I don't know if that's literally the plot of the show. If it is, I might have to go watch it.
So I can give you a quick breakdown if you want, because I have seen all 3 seasons.
Oh, sure, okay.
So it's one of those where the overlord was in real life a game developer for this game. Or no, I'm sorry, he wasn't a game developer, he was a game player.
Okay.
The game shuts down at midnight, and him and his party were doing we're going to stay on the servers until the servers shut down. Guy randomly falls asleep. Next thing you know, he is his character.
Great.
So they troned it.
Yeah. So you get his internal monologue where he's still this guy who's kind of timid, but he has to act like he knows what he's doing and that he is all powerful because all of his minions that he has, they, you know, were programmed because they were basically their clan defenses for their base. So they're all programmed to love and, you know, basically he is the master.
Right.
But if there's a hint of, I guess, like softness or weakness, they could turn on him just like that.
Okay, so that makes the game make a lot more sense because basically you have a short intro where it's the introduction of the world and like who you are and everything. It makes no mention of this being a game at all, which makes it even funnier. But you basically have a wheel of characters. It's like 8 to 10 characters. And the first time you select each one of those characters, you go through a little vignette with them, which is basically like, oh hey, I'm the overlord, rah, scary, what are you doing, what's going on over there, and then they're like, oh my liege, I'm doing this, does that sound good? And he's like, yes, is that, I'll go with you, that sounds great. And they're like, like giving them a side eye, like, okay, interesting. And then Picross puzzles, and then you gotta, I don't know if there's more, but like there seems to be a lot of puzzles in this game because each character seems to have its own set of puzzles between Picross, Mega Picross, Color Picross, and Clip Picross. So like all 4 different types that Jupiter has been making. So it seems cool, but I'm not sure at the outset that its selling point is here's a story Picross game, because it mostly seems pretty thin, but I don't know. I haven't played enough to...
Dude, at least it has some form of story. Even if they literally wrap tissue paper around Picross, it's more story than the Picross series / type of game has received ever.
Picross's story usually is press A to start. Like, that's that's how much you get. So, I don't know. It seems pretty cool. It seems a little goofy in a way that I really enjoy. And if that is the sense of humor from the show, then maybe I'll have to go check out that show because that sounds pretty cool.
You can watch the first 2 seasons. The 3rd season's kind of
Okay, well, I might check out the first 2 seasons. Played some Destiny 2 this week. The Solstice of Heroes event is out now. This is super inside baseball, so I'm really not going to get into it. It's the same thing as last year. You get a garbage set of gear. You do some objectives on each piece of gear to upgrade it to the next level. Green, blue, purple. Once you get the purple set, it looks super cool. It's the max light level. It has cool bonuses on it and all that. And when Shadow Keep comes out, which we'll talk about in the news stories, you'll be able to transfer that set of gear into an Armor 2.0 set of gear. So like as soon as Shadow Keep comes out, you can get a brand new set of gear to try out all the cool stuff. So
okay.
The most important thing in this is the European Aerial Zone. It is a floating island above the European Dead Zone. Normally I wouldn't talk about it because, you're just going to shoot more aliens in the face. What's super cool about this is it's not a normal map. It is a very, very vertical map. You are highly encouraged to get to the top of and jump between multiple skyscrapers, and you're going through like parking lot structures, and you're going across housing complex and stuff. So it's really cool that they've managed to make something way different, as opposed to here's a giant open field with maybe a couple of things you can jump on. This one is very much get to the top of these buildings to go kill the bosses you need to kill. So really cool that they're taking these taking the opportunity to make something different in these little events. I think that's pretty cool. I was looking for something to play because I finished Bloodstained, and I was looking through the games I have installed on my Xbox One, and Doom is not on my Xbox One. It is in my PS4.
I'm just saying.
It's there. I didn't feel like playing. I didn't feel like playing something I needed to hear, and I need to hear that soundtrack.
Yes, you 100% do. No
yes.
arguments there. Okay, so you wanted a hunter. You wanted.
Yeah, I wanted something to play that maybe wasn't super heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
So I fired up Super Lucky's Tale, which is a blue sky friendly, children-focused platformer, and it's pretty okay. It is exactly what it says on the tin. Like, it is a character action platformer. It is semi 3D because you can sort of, instead of spinning the camera all the way around, you can kind of change it like 45 degrees one angle and 45 degrees the other angle, but you can't spin it all the way around.
Style.
Well, you could spin it all the way around.
You could, but there was a lot of levels where it was like, this is the wall, you can shift it 45 degrees that way and 45 degrees that way.
Yeah, something like that, but it's presented in like a 3D perspective. So it's interesting. I think it helps because a lot of the levels are pretty straightforward for what you're going to do. I didn't play a ton of it, but it's one of those games where it's like, all right, cool. This is a fun, cute 3D character action platformer. I have to go in this level, get 3 things, and then it unlocks the thing, and I finish the level. And I'm collecting...
Oh, that sounds like Snake Pass.
Yeah, like I'm collecting letters to spell out lucky, and once I do that, I get a lucky clover, and once I get X number of lucky clovers, I'll unlock the next level. You know, like, it's what those games are, and I haven't played one of those in a while, so I was sort of digging it.
Mm-hmm.
And the last game I played is this month's Game Club game, not Game Pass. It is available on Game Pass on PC. Orwell, Keeping an Eye on You. I finished that. If you're listening to this, you need to go play it. It took me probably 4 hours to get through. It's 5 chapters. The first chapter is really short. It's just a tutorial on, like, here's how you feed data in Orwell. The last chapter is really short because you're just going through the ending. It's just a lot of story stuff. And then the middle 3 chapters are probably about an hour apiece, because that's really where the heavy lifting is. Part of why I liked it is because of the episode structure. So you can sit down, spend an hour, play an episode, get to the ending, log out for the day, like log out of Orwell to get to the next chapter, and then you can sort of quit at that point. Orwell is really cool, and it's a really different thing, and I will talk about it much more during our game club, but it is, your PC can probably play it because it's not super intense, and it is on Game Pass for PC. I had it on Twitch because it was apparently part of one of Twitch's, here's 17 free games this month for 1 month. But yeah, go play Orwell Keeping an Eye on You. It is definitely something different that I haven't played before. But we'll talk about that in Game Club in about 2 weeks. So, but that's all I had time for this week. So let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of August 5th, 2019. Metal Wolf Chaos XD comes out for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. If you don't know what this is, Microsoft... What's that?
Is this the Contra one? No, that's something else.
No, that's... I don't remember the name of that. Back in the original Xbox days, Microsoft said, hey, From Software,
I remember
we need a leg up in Japan. You make the Armored Core games. Can you make us a mecha game for the original Xbox in Japan? FromSoft was like, yeah, we got that. We got you. We got this. They made the craziest, over-the-top, like, pro-America, faux patriotism mecha game on the planet.
It's Metal Gear Rising Revengeance before Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Very much so. And From Software never really understood why we wanted the game here in the States, so they never brought it, even though ever since it came out, people were like, please, bring this insane game to where we can play it. Devolver Digital started working with From Software a number of years ago. They remastered it. That's what it's coming out. This remastered version of Metal Wolf Chaos is finally coming out. And it's crazy.
This is the one, if you saw the trailer, this is the one where the President of the United States has a giant mech.
Yes. Yeah, and he's just getting stuff done in his giant mech. Yeah, so, that's definitely one to check out. Guacamelee 1-2 Punch Collection comes out for the Switch and PS4.
I couldn't... good name.
I know, that's really... For some reason, I couldn't find out if it's coming out for Xbox One. I have a feeling it is, but I didn't see any listings for it. But
I don't know if 2 is out on the Xbox One yet, because I know 2, I think, got an exclusivity with the PlayStation for a while, so it could be a case of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it'll come out in like 3 or 6 more months. But yes, that is 2019. One of 2019's best titles, Guacamelee 1-2 Punch Collection. That's really good. Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition comes out for the Switch.
Speaking of bad names.
Yeah, the opposite there. It's so good, it's bad.
Yeah, I love THQ Nordic. Let me, sorry.
In parentheses.
Pregnant Paul's THQ
right.
Nordic. Because they know that naming conventions are bad and they just keep doing it.
They just lean right into it.
Like
Remastered Edition.
Remastered. The War Edition, the Definitive, like, okay, sure.
Can I say Remastered almost sounds like a slur? Like it feels like I shouldn't be saying it on the show. Where it's like, I can't. It's 2019. You cannot say Remastered, please. My God. Gravity Ghost Deluxe is coming out on PS4. This is Gravity Ghost, the hit indie game from a couple years ago, with a lot more stuff added to it. More stages, more secrets, more music, all that stuff. So go check it out. DC Universe Online is coming out to the Switch to just destroy your life.
Honestly, what I played of DCUO, it's genuinely not a bad game. The problem is it's a free-to-play MMO in 2019, which means you have 4 inventory slots, 1 character slot, and so on and so forth. 20 types of currency. Yeah. Pillars of Eternity Complete Edition comes out on the Switch. This is sort of... We were talking about this on PUP, out now, where this is sort of the beginning of the release plan for all of these beloved classic D&D PC RPGs, like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale. All that stuff is coming out to all consoles in sort of batches here. Or if you want to be crazy, buy the entire collection, which has like 10 games in it. And like a dice holder that looks like the Beholder.
I bought that.
I don't know if I can go back. I honestly don't know if I can go back anymore. Like
we were talking on PUP. I think they'll be okay if they can get the control scheme down, because those are not uncomplicated games. They're not super complex, but they sort of expected that you had a mouse and keyboard. So
yeah, but
I hope they translate that to controller well.
Oz Arcanum is one of my favorite games of all time, and even with the fan patch that fixes it, that game is still so hard.
Yeah. And lastly, Turok 2 Seeds of Evil comes out for the Switch, because I guess someone was asking for Turok games to come to the Switch.
You know what? At least they don't have to worry about how it looks, because it'll be just foggy enough that you don't have to worry about anything.
Exactly. Let's move.
We give Turok a lot of crap, but let me just say, the Turok series introduced me to the Cerebral Bore, one of the greatest weapons in video game history.
That all, by the way, that is in Enter the Gungeon. And it's really good. The Turok games, when they came out, were really good. In hindsight, they are not.
Yes.
Don't flatly put that out there.
Don't try and play the 360 Turok game, whatever you do.
Oh, yikes, no. Let's move on to news stories. The No Man's Sky team, Hello Games, ?
Yes.
Has finally announced the release date for No Man's Sky Beyond, the next big, I want to say expansion pack, but it's a free update, so I feel like expansion pack is sort of maybe... The next big free update is coming out August 14th, so like 10 days now. The 2 big selling points are, 1, VR, which is super cool. I hope that works really well. I believe it's VR on both PC and PS4. I don't know what headsets it supports on PC. Sorry. If you have a VR headset, you probably already know. And then they're talking about expanding some of the multiplayer stuff in Beyond, but they don't really explicitly say what that is, which is a little weird.
It feels a little bit of a stupid mistake coming from them, because you need to be specific, but also not overpromise, especially if you're Hello Games after the whole quote-unquote No Man's Sky debacle.
And I feel like it's out in 10 days, so like you probably don't need to sell it that much because it's just a free update, so you're going to get it anyway. But like, it'd be nice to know, should I reinstall No Man's Sky? I think it's already installed on my PS4, but like, is this something I should be looking at as someone who doesn't have a VR headset? Great bonus though, VR and non-VR people will get to play together, which is obviously a really great choice. But
I can't wait till somebody makes their best friend throw up.
Yeah, just like,
we'll find out
take this ship out
because I got my VR set. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we'll 2 weeks check back on the show. I mean, check back every week because the show is good, but especially in 2 weeks. So
the confidence in his voice is so great.
Yep. Show is great. Next news story talking about release dates. Destiny 2 Shadowkeep and New Light have been delayed into October for 2 weeks. Was originally supposed to be released on September 17th, but they have pushed up the release date for cross-save. That will be coming this month, and then pushed back the release date for Shadowkeep and New Light.
So they don't have two hot messes going on at once. They can do one hot mess, deal with that, and then have a second hot mess shortly afterwards. I'm not trying to insult, Bungie when I say that, but
those are big changes.
Yeah, and you don't want one thing causing issues and then not knowing if it's the second thing or the first thing that causes the issues.
You make one change at a time. Yeah, the interesting thing is, if people have had looked closely in Destiny 2, cross-save is already live in Destiny 2. You can see Bungie employees playing that their emblem underneath the name says cross-save enabled. So it's live and it's working. So I think that's why they're going to sort of flip the switch here in the month. But thankfully, in new Bungie, which is post-Activision breakup, number one, this is the first time they have delayed any piece of Destiny content, period. Number two, it's the first thing they've released since they split with Activision, and it's really great because Luke and Mark, the two heads of Destiny 2, wrote a really honest blog post saying, hey, it's coming along great, it just needs more time for it to be really great when it launches. We're just going to take 2 more weeks. It's like, you know what? Cool. I appreciate your honesty. You're not pushing it out a ton. You're not going to crunch the hell out of the team. And you just came out and said, like, we just need more time. Mm-hmm. So, 2 thumbs up. I appreciate that. It's better than, like, we value you as the player, and we decided that, it's like, nah, man, we're working hard, and we need more time.
Honestly, cool. I think I probably I tweeted with you about this earlier this week. I probably came across as more snarky than I intended to. Mm-hmm. But the big thing with me is Bungie have a history of being late. They have a history of very large delays, and they also have a history of blaming everybody but themselves for these delays.
Well, and the product's still coming out and not really being right for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And this isn't just Destiny. This goes way back to Halo.
Yeah. And probably before that.
Mm-hmm. Like where Microsoft wanted us to insert these extra features, so we have to delay by 6 months, a year, whatever.
Right.
We're getting pushed too hard. It's not our fault. The studio, they want so much from us.
The other guy, they're doing it.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what Bungie's excuses are if this keeps happening. And 2 weeks is fine. 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks is nothing.
2 weeks is a blink of the eye, and it's gone.
It gives me time to play Borderlands 3, which comes out on the 13th.
Yeah, 2 weeks is no big deal. The thing that I'm keeping an eye on is who do they blame when the next content is a month delayed? Who do they blame when the content after that is 6 months out, a year out, because of whatever reason? Because at this point, they are on their own. They don't have anybody to blame, and I'm curious to see if they're going to keep up this honesty that they've got,
Yeah.
or if they're going to go down the lying and BS hole of saying it's X, Y, and Z. And
the interesting thing is Luke Smith, who's now the creative director of Destiny 2, the lead guy for Destiny 2, basically. He said he's also going to write this very lengthy, very in-depth blog post, and I believe it with how he's been writing stuff lately, detailing what went wrong in the last 6 months, what they've learned, and how they're going to fix that going forward. And it's like, great. Like, we're finally getting to the point where I feel like the benefits that the Warframe community has, which is rapid frequent communication, total blatant honesty. If they screw up, they say they screw up. Here's what they're going to learn from. And I think the thing we've yet to see from Bungie is they're doing all of that and then making good on those promises. Because I feel like they haven't been out from under their thinly veiled comments about like, we couldn't really talk to you because of Activision. Like now,
which is probably true.
Yeah, I believe it from Activision. You know, it's like a lot of people when they go work for EA, it's like, I can't really talk to you anymore because I work for EA. Like, sorry, that's not how that goes. So yeah, I'm very interested because, like you said, a lot of Destiny releases have come out, and big patches for games as a service games are going to run into some speed bumps when they launch every time. It's instead of having 100 people test it, you're having 2.5 million. There's going to be problems, but if you can smooth those speed bumps out in advance and make the launch a lot less rocky, take 2 more weeks. That's fine.
Honestly, the thing that I'm waiting for to really snap at a studio, any studio, not Bungie, but any studio, is this game has been delayed by 6 months, 8 months, a year, because we don't want to do crunch. Okay.
Exactly.
Why did you schedule it to be released at this point if you don't want to do crunch? Announce it for the year after and take that into account. Don't give me this delay for the benefit of the studio stuff.
Yeah.
Because you don't care. Most companies don't care.
As always, crunch is a failure of management. So if you say you don't want to do this because of crunch, either that means you were crunching up until this point and you got a conscience, or
you didn't plan it well enough.
And yeah, you didn't plan it well enough, which happens. I mean, especially in this case, like for only 2 weeks, all right, you slipped a couple of deadlines, and you ran into some bigger bugs that were causing some issues. That makes, if they were going to delay it by like 2 more months, it's like, okay, something caught on fire in the studio, like something seriously happened. But I think we're seeing a sea change from a lot of companies that aren't under big publishers, because I think we've seen this, Destiny 2 as an example, we've seen content come out that's not really done, and you can pretty clearly tell that it's Activision saying, you need to make it come out this quarter, you have a week left, you do the math, so I think it's interesting.
Honestly, like, I just don't want to hear we don't want to do crunch used as an excuse, because the second somebody says you don't want to do crunch, and it's like 2 weeks or whatever before your deadline date, then that's on you. That's not you don't want to do crunch. That's you messed it up to the point where you didn't do the math correctly to have it out by this point.
And you shouldn't be doing crunch at all. I mean, no matter what internet babies will say, we can wait for a game if it's not on the backs of suffering engineers and QA people and artists and etc. Yeah. So
like I have my issues with Bethesda, but look at how they announce games. They announce games at E3 or at QuakeCon or whatever. They announce them 7 months before release.
Right.
When
they know it's going to be done.
It's pretty much done
that month.
They don't do what other people do and announce something 3 years ahead of time, and then give you a confirmed date, and then 2 weeks before that date they push it back another 6 months. Right. Push it back earlier. If you know you're not going to hit a date, push it back 6 months beforehand. Don't push it back like 2, 3, 4 weeks beforehand.
Or do like what id has always done, which is, we are working on this thing, it will be done when it's done, we will give you a release date when it's done. Yeah. All right, let's move on to questions here. T-Bomb Rocks on Discord sends us a couple questions. It says, Game Pass has changed the way I buy games. I will 100% agree with that. In the past, games that were holding out on for a sale on the week after I buy it go to Game Pass, my time in Porsche recently. My question is, has your price you set on a game you want but are not 100% sold on generally gone down since Game Pass? A $60 game at $40-$30 before Game Pass, now it's closer to $20, etc.
No. For me, no. Because if it's a game that I want, I will get it day one. Obviously, unless it's a Microsoft exclusive, I'm still happy to pay $60 for whatever game. I have already been told, specifically by my wife, that I am not allowed to buy Control for her because it comes out both close enough to her birthday and our anniversary that it could be a gift. I have been told I am not allowed to do so because my wife needs to buy it for herself.
That's fair. I feel like if you're a big enough fan, that's like someone opening a package for you that you're waiting for before you get home. It's like, no, I wanted to open that thing. Like my action figure came and you opened it. Like that sort of. I get that. I can respect that. I like that.
And like for me, it's a case of like, if I have the financial availability to do so, and a game comes out that I'm interested in, and it's $60, I will buy it at $60, even if I don't play it right away. It happened this year. Kingdom Hearts 3, Resident Evil 2. 2 games that we purchased in this household day one, both for $60, both when we already had Game Pass and this stuff might eventually come there, because I was so excited about those games.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't play enough Kingdom Hearts 3, but Resident Evil 2 was sure worth the money because I...
Yeah.
Oh, that game is so good.
I think... For me, Game Pass eases the pressure. Like, Outer Worlds is going to come out on Game Pass when it comes out next year. I don't have to buy it anymore. Like, I know I'm excited to play it, and I will play it on my Xbox as long as that thing is still alive. And that, to me, that eases the pressure of having to set aside $60 for a game that I'm excited to play on day one or soon-ish after release. And I think for me, that's the biggest thing. As someone who doesn't have a paying job right now, a quote-unquote free game is pretty invaluable.
Yeah.
I know for me, I've just been kind of using Game Pass on games that I just generally wouldn't buy. Like,
that is a great example. Like, that's me. Yeah, I do that too.
Because like I downloaded Dead by Daylight. It's not a game that I'm particularly interested in, but I'm willing to play with Moon just to give it a shot and see what it's like, and maybe I won't
put a couple hours into it.
Yeah. But no, I'm still the guy where if I want it, I'll buy it day one, and if it's something that I'm kind of interested in, but don't really have the time for it or whatever, I'll wait for it to actually go on sale and then pick it up. So
yeah, I think that's one of the biggest selling points. I think for people like us that want to play a wide swath of games is like Super Lucky's Tale. I'm probably not going to spend the money on it, but I will check it out on Game Pass because if I play it for 2 or 3 hours, that's fine. Like I played it, my Game Pass, I have Game Pass for free until like 2076. But like, you know, I can try it. Moon, you found that out with Bomber Crew, where it's like, I don't know what this game is. I'll try it out. Wow, it's really good. This is a great game.
It's a fantastic tasting dish.
Yes,
it's the samples that you get from the supermarket. Like, imagine Game Pass as the Walmart store of the digital world, and you're just walking through, and somebody's like, "Here, how about this little bit of Snake Pass? Do you like this kind of food, or do you not like this?"
A sample of Snake Pass, sir.
Here is The Last Station, a kind of indie game based around traveling in a train where something happens.
It's a lot like Netflix, where it's like, "Hey, you just finished this movie. You don't have anything else to do. This movie's like that one. Do you want to watch that?" And it's like, yeah, sure. All right, let's play that one too. That one sounds crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry. That next episode button is right there when you finished it.
You could just let it keep playing.
Click it and go.
Yeah,
you know. And props to you. I think you pointed this out a little while ago as well. But that Xbox beta app on the PC, it has a randomized button.
Yes,
that's dangerous.
Just like, would you like to play Hollow Knight? It's like, Sure.
It's like, literally, you go in, it's got all of the different genres and stuff that you can try, and right there is just gonna show me a random game. And you click
it's like a picture of a dice.
and it does a loop, and then it stops on a game. It's like, how about this one?
And the great part about Game Pass is you click install, it takes however long it needs to install, and then you play it. Mm-hmm. It's what we've always been talking about for Netflix for games. And it's here, and it's really good.
It's the value for money is insane for me. Like, that's the biggest thing, because I think I might have mentioned this on the show, but my wife worked with a kid who was just getting into video games, like maybe 19, 20, had an Xbox, liked his Fortnite, liked his COD, found out my wife likes games, like, oh, what do you play? You know, what can you recommend for me to play? It's like, you got an Xbox? Yeah. You got Game Pass? No. Sign up for it.
Yeah, go get Game Pass.
Try this game, this game, this game, this game. You can just download them. You can play them. See what
it's $1 for your first month.
It's a very inexpensive way to refine your palate and see what you like.
And it's funny because it's the polar opposite of PS Now. Even PS Now doing the game downloads, it still never feels like as great a value as Game Pass does, because PS Now, they'll put out games, they're like, here's a brand new set of 6 games. 4 of them came out on the PS3, and 2 of them are 3 years old on the PS4. And it's like, yeah, but I played those 3 years ago. like Gears 5 is coming out day and date on Game Pass. That's awesome, and I'm going to preload that because I want to go play that. Like, that's they got me with Forza Horizon 4, and then they just keep putting out more games. It's like, you're interested in this game? Cool, it's coming out day and date Game Pass. Yeah. You'll already get it. It's like that's incredible.
My Game Pass math has always been, I am a Microsoft fanboy. I hold my hand to my heart and I say that I bleed green. And I'm not
the pledge of Xbox
to admit that.
Yeah.
I have no problem admitting that. I don't like the PlayStation controller. I have a dongle, so I don't have to use a PlayStation controller while playing the PlayStation. I have been Xbox through and through since the original Xbox days. And the biggest thing for me with Game Pass is will Microsoft release 2 $60 games in a calendar year that I am interested in paying for and would pay $60 if Game Pass did not exist? And every calendar year so far, without fail, the answer is yes.
Yeah, there's like 10 of them.
I would have paid $60 for Forza Horizon 4. I would have paid $60 for Sea of Thieves. I would have paid $60 for Crackdown 3.
Yep.
Good or not, I would have paid $60 for all of these. That's less than 16 months, 3 games, $60 a piece. Does that pay for Game Pass? Yes, it does. I am saving money because I'm also playing Snake Pass, Dead by Daylight, blah, 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 blah. Like,
20 other games that you're checking out on there.
Exactly. And that price has just got better because now you've got the Outer Worlds, you've got the Outer Wilds, you've got all these other things that are coming out.
Hollow Knight.
All of these other things coming out, and it's just like, you know what? Definitely worth my money.
Yeah, there's a lot of games you want to play on there, I feel like no matter what you like playing, as long as it isn't like the Jedi Fallen Order that's coming out. Obviously, that's not coming out on Game Pass because it's EA and they want the full $60 for themselves, which is fine. Like, stuff that's coming out from EA or Activision or the bigger publishers like that, they're not going to come to Game Pass, and that's understandable and that's fine. But that's like 2 releases where there's 18 more that are coming on a Game Pass, which is great. So 2 thumbs up.
So no, my pricing hasn't changed based on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the original question.
Yeah. And his second question here, with the success of the Switch has me thinking in its life cycle, what Nintendo franchises do you expect to not see? He says, for me, it's either F-Zero or Star Fox, mainly because of Ubisoft using the property.
Well, I think he nailed the 2 that I would have chosen, F-Zero and Star Fox, because they've got a Star Fox game in Starlink. They don't need to put the resources in to make a new Star Fox game. And I'm sorry, but Lilac Wars is forever going to be the best Star Fox game. Correction, Star Fox 64, different name, different countries. I don't know why.
And I feel like with F-Zero,
they have Mario Kart. They don't need...
And that not enough people want another super fast F-Zero. Like, I do, and there's probably another 1% of humans that do. That's not nearly enough. You're right, compared to Mario Kart, where it's a system seller and it's a guaranteed bundle game. There's not. I think my big pick is, unfortunately, I really doubt we're going to see another Pikmin. And I think it's been long enough. I really think they should, because I think enough people have the Switch that could be interested in a game like Pikmin.
Random tangent aside here. Actually, Nimp, you go first before I tangent away.
I was thinking that that Wario game. I can't remember what it's called.
WarioWare?
Yeah.
WarioWare?
Yeah. With all the random
WarioWare would
mini
be
games
great.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, with the detachable Joy-Cons, although I guess that's not, potentially not. Like, turning there's a gyroscope in there. That would be...
WarioWare is one of the best Nintendo games ever made.
Yeah, WarioWare is so great. Well, we'll probably also never see another Wario Land, unfortunately, either, although that would look so good on the Switch's screen.
I'd love them to do a new Wario Brothers. Like, just take the new Mario Brothers, 2D side-scrolling thing, and throw Wario and Waluigi in there. And,
great.
Like, just have it be that awkward bonkersness of, like, Waluigi's got the Luigi jump, but he's so tall he can't get through 2 block gaps. He's got to go through 3 block gaps.
Yeah,
like
that'd be great.
Like, really put a twist on it. Like...
So your random tangent.
My random tangent. Is it just me, or has F-Zero always been the Dark Souls of racing games? Because
I feel like the first one wasn't, like the one on Super NES wasn't, but man, that one they put on GameCube was just
64
brutal.
GameCube. They all felt so hard.
Yeah.
When you've got Wipeout, and in my opinion, the epitome of super high-speed racing games, Extreme G.
Extreme G was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. F-Zero has always been this really crazy thing, because the Super NES game, either it was a launch game or it came out like those first 2 months. It was so impressive, because this was like, Nintendo could show that off and say, here is Mode 7. This is what we can do with Mode 7 in games with just sprites. And it blew everybody's mind. And then it never really got back to that. And I don't know how you modernize that franchise other than make a sequel to the GameCube one, because I think for a more casual racer, people want Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah, and I don't think that... Because the problem is F-Zero has always been, like, not always, but the last couple of iterations have been fast, difficult, Twitch-based racing games.
Yep.
Like... Wipeout's kind of on a downslope as well. They basically closed that studio and said, here is a new Wipeout for the PlayStation 4. # no, it's not. It's just all the old ones bundled.
Yeah, like we just smushed all of the PS3 ones together, which is fine, but like...
It feels like that genre is going away, and instead you have Mario Kart and then Project Cars. Like, they're the two... the two aspects.
The two extremes.
Forza's
there's nothing...
in the middle.
There's nothing. Yeah, you're right, because there's nothing in the middle like Split Second, where it's arcadey but kind of more serious, but kind of like, I feel like we probably won't see another Forza, like Forza Motorsport, until Project Scarlet, because I don't think there's a reason for them to put out another one on the Xbox One, and that sort of sits in the middle-ish, because you can do auto acceleration and auto braking if you want, or you can make it super hardcore. Nothing like Assetto Corsa or anything, or Project Cars, but like, I don't know. Racing games are in a weird spot.
Yeah, it's one or the other. If you ever want to see something really fun, by the way, Formula One drivers are actually part of an esports team for iRacing, just so you know.
That's great. I need to check that out.
And it's the 2 kids of the scene, and they're both on different teams in Formula One as well, but they're on the same team in iRacing.
Aha, collusion.
Well, I'm curious too. Like, let's say Nintendo just doesn't have an interest in releasing an F-Zero game, but
would they license it?
Yeah, who would you want them to pass? Like what they did with Metro Prime. Who would you guys want them to pass it on to?
It would have been the Wipeout. It would have been the Wipeout developers had they not closed. Was that Studio Liverpool?
Yep, Studio Liverpool would have been my number one choice, but they got rid of them. Split Second guys, but they've been closed down.
Yeah, that was BlackRock?
Yes, I believe so.
Something like that, yeah.
It wasn't Black Tusk, because Black Tusk is now Coalition, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that's the Gears peeps. I would have said for a long time the Crash Team Racing devs, but I don't. The remake of that is what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Who is out there making really great, I guess, arcade racing games?
How are we all this stupid? There's only one team you give it to, and it begins with a C. And they make the best menus in video game history, and they make the best racing games in video game history. It's Codemasters.
Gridmasters, yes.
It's the only team you can really give it to, because they do Dirt, they do the super serious, but they also do those type of games in a more arcadey sense too. So,
I actually have a different answer. I would actually want to give the license and a truckload of money to the team that made the sequel to Roll Cage, like that spiritual sequel that you had played for a while. Like, is it Grip?
Yes, Grip.
Yeah, I would want them to make that with F-Zero, basically. Like, even take the flipping up and down, less so than the F-Zero G was the GameCube one, I think, where you're like flipping around the tube. Like, make it more like that game and just make it F-Zero.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
Here's something
but
crazy.
I think that's it.
Give it to Team Ninja and then make
the car's got boobs now.
Make a Fighters Megamix where all you do is fight as cars.
That'd be great. Just cars standing up.
We've seen the Daytona car do it. Why not the F-Zero?
That's right. I'm trying to think of who else is making racing games that aren't like Project Cars and iRacing and stuff like that. And I think I'm running out of studios.
Oh, I've got a really dumb idea.
Uh-huh.
Give it to a flight sim team and have it be literally like a flight sim, where you have
with the HOTAS and everything.
You have to do the start ignition sequence. You have to get the engine 10.
Just go real hardcore with it.
Yeah,
like Steel Battalion. Mm-hmm. That would be pretty cool. Elite Dangerous : Racing.
Mm-hmm. Like, you're in the cockpit. You've got the start sequence. And if you crash or bump into a wall, you've got to lower your thrusters, adjust
it deletes your save
to get it back up to speed. Exactly.
I don't know. That could be cool. Yeah. Yeah. I guess the real answer to this question is there are not enough middle ground racing games.
Yeah. And if there are, they're indie games that usually are not deep enough to warrant a longer tail in them.
All right, that's true, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all of our questions for this week. Thank you, T-Bomb Rocks, for sending your questions. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everyone will find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. You heard Moon's fantastic sell at the very beginning of the episode. Fantastic. Jimbo Jangles in the chat says the Ace Combat dudes need to make a battle racer. I would play the hell out of that. That's a great suggestion.
Twisted Metal done right.
But yeah, yes. You'll get the Outcast, you'll get early access to stuff, Old Dog New Flicks, all the cool stuff. The $5 a month level is the one we recommend. It's only $5 a month. That's so cheap. Game Club, we're still playing Orwell, Keeping an Eye on You. That is on Game Pass for PC, as well as you probably have it for free on like 3 other storefronts. So go check all the storefronts
check
that
the
you're
Twitch
on.
Page, check to the Epic Game page.
I had it on Twitch. I had both games on Twitch, actually. Go listen to We Rogue Like It. We don't plug that enough here on the show. Moon and I and Monkey Senior talk about a roguelike every week. We just started a brand new one that is available for patrons coming up Wednesday of this week. On the public feed, there is we're still talking about Void Bastards, which is a really great game, also available on Game Pass on PC and Xbox One. You should go play that. The Hannah, TVGP alumnus, the Hannah just started playing that, and he has been sharing his really great roles on Discord server. So go hop on there and we'll talk about that. I think that's it. Go listen to Old Dog New Flicks. That show's really great.
I wouldn't go that far.
I think it's really great. I have fun listening to it. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
ODNF is the show to listen to if you really want to hate me and or my wife.
if you want to get angry at someone's opinions, listen to ODNF.
Yes, 100%.
Let's start off with your titles, Nimp.
All right. I have Superman the Stuff, 6 Rolly Nights, The Mood is Great, The Dark Souls of X, I have a Weird Pink Sword.
Jesus. Out of context, I have to veto that one. I'm really sorry.
I've got a really good out of context one as well.
Yeah, I do too, and I think we'll veto that one too, unfortunately.
The Hunter, Call of the Photographer, Synchronize Your Watches, Who Shot This Bear with a Rocket, and Robot Masters in the Right Order.
Moonpier.
The Down Pound.
That's the one I also have, which I really like.
That's not the one that, for me, out of context is weird. It's the next one, which is White Gooey Fluid.
You know what's so funny is we talk about Dark Souls. That's very much a Dark Souls prompt that someone wrote on the ground, where it's like, ahead, dark gooey fluid. And it's like, man, you pervs.
The funny thing is, though, I hear those too, but I don't write them down because I know they're going to get vetoed. But then, like, the Pink's Weird Sword, I was just like, nah, I'm writing that.
I'm gonna not veto the Down Pound just because it sounds so funny, but it's probably not gonna make it.
Yeah, we'll see. Ducks Are Dumb. Rank Tank. To Sherpa and Be Sherped.
Oh, I only have to veto that because we've had a Sherpa title recently. Yeah. Otherwise, that would win by a mile. It's like it's the title of a great poem. To Sherpa or Be Sherped.
Please Be Sweaty. Hashtag Best Wife Ever. Not Judgmental Silence. Funeral of Fists. And They Tronned It.
Not Judgmental Silence. So I have the Down Pound. I spent 3 hours running through the woods. Ducks Are So Dumb, which is by and far my leader. Siege by Saturday. A Funeral of Fists. I disappeared into the wilderness because I really like how you said that, Nymph. You're like, so I disappeared in the wilderness. It's just like your tax evasion scheme. They Tronned It, Synchronize Your Watches, and Not Judgmental Silence. I really like Ducks Are So Dumb.
Yeah, it's kind of a good one. I'm torn between that, Funeral of Fists. I think Funeral of Fists has got a really good flow to it. But Ducks Are So Dumb is also... It's a great mental image. It's a true statement if there ever was one.
Your delivery was great.
Man, I can get behind either one of those.
Jimbo Jangles says, Showtile, there were 3 ducks, now there are 2.
That's just me being dumb.
Yeah. I would... man. I feel like both of them are really great.
2.5 ducks.
Should I flip a coin?
Yeah. Do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Heads is Ducks Are So Dumb. Tails is Funeral of Fists, so I'm going to Google flip a coin. And... it's heads. So Ducks Are So Dumb.
All right.
Thank you, Google. By the way, for anyone who wants to do that, just Google flip a coin, and it does it.
It says heads or tails.
Yeah.
Also,
has a cool little animation. It's great.
For everyone out there playing D&D, randomdicegenerator.com or .org.
There you go. All right, let me know when you guys are ready.
I'm ready. I've got a really dumb one.
I mean, that's what it calls for, I think. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 615 for August 5th, 2019. Ducks Are So Dumb.
Quack, quack, mother effer.
Pretty sure the light guns just broke.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with us. Big shout out to Jimbo Jangles and Joe from chat. thank you for hanging out. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Remix. Bye. Okay, I'm done.
We can stop recording.